All right. Hello and good evening to everyone joining us for today's live stream. My name is Safia and I will be your host and the moderator for today's session. So, we have a very interesting discussion on women in IT celebrating achievements and overcoming challenges. Will be the topic for today's discussion. But first, before we begin, I would like to give a big thank you and a big shout out to HCL Tech Sri Lanka for partnering with us for this monthly webinar series, Tech Times. To give a little bit of introduction to HCL Tech, HCL Tech is an IT service provider offering solutions for its global delivery center in Sri Lanka. Although it's been around for only 2 years of business here in Sri Lanka, it has created more than 1,500 job opportunities for undergraduates and young graduates in the tech industry. HCL Tech is globally present in over 50 countries and has plenty of opportunities on a global scale and is very proud to serve the world's best brands right here from their facility at Cinnamon Life in Sri Lanka. I'm also very thrilled and excited to announce that HCL Tech is launching its Tech B program, which is exclusively for senior school students. The Tech B program is an alternate path for advanced level students who wish to become tech engineers in the future. Tech B scholars will get to complete their IT degree whilst also having the opportunity to work at HCL Tech. Do keep in mind that this program is open to students from any school across Sri Lanka. And if you're interested in pursuing a career in the tech field, do not forget to check out the Tech Week program at HCL Tech. You can find out more information on this program on the HCL Tech Sri Lanka website. With that said, I would like to give a quick intro and a quick commercial video from HCL Tech Sri Lanka. Enjoy.
It comes from having a clear objective, a goal, moving forward unwaveringly towards success. It can be fast, it can be slow, it can be disruptive, but one thing it can't be is stopped. While progress might seem inevitable, breakthroughs come from supercharging it, delivering business outcomes at scale, fulfilling aspirations with compassion, innovating responsibly, finding new levels of efficiency, removing barriers, unlocking potential. Business is always moving, so it's easy to confuse motion with real progress. Whether it's day-to-day success or transformational gains, we supercharge progress to change the game. HCL Tech, supercharging progress.
Thank you. Right, let's now get into the discussion. Today, we are gathered here to celebrate the achievements of women in the IT industry and, of course, to discuss the challenges that they have faced. It has not been an easy journey. It has been a struggle and a worthwhile struggle. But how have they overcome the challenges that they have faced in the IT industry is going to be the discussion today. As you are already aware, the IT industry has long been considered a male-dominated field. But women now are breaking barriers and making a significant contribution in this field. Today, we will hear from someone who has made great strides in her IT career and have become a successful professional in her respective field. We will also take a little bit of time to discuss the challenges that women face in the IT industry, such as bias, discrimination, and lack of representation. We will explore how women can overcome these challenges and inspire others to pursue their dream in the IT industry. Our goal is to encourage women to continuing pursuing their careers in IT, provide insights and guidance to those who are just starting out, and celebrate the achievements of women who have already made a significant impact in their field. So let's dive in and celebrate the incredible achievements of women in IT while also discussing how we can work together to overcome the challenges that still exist. I am very thrilled and happy to introduce the guest speaker for today, Hansani Perera. Hansani has completed her undergraduate studies at the University of Ruhuna and later obtained an MSc in cybersecurity from SLIT. She is presently employed as a software engineer in a leading ICT company and also has experience working as an instructor and a lecturer in academia. Hansini, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here and making yourself available to join us for this discussion.
Thanks. Hi, Safia. Thanks for having me here. And today we are about to start a discussion on a topic that's becoming more important these days, women in ITs. So I am really excited to share my experiences and opinion on this subject.
Absolutely. Wonderful. So let's start. Let's get in and dive in right away. So first things first, what I would like to ask you is, IT is not an industry that a lot of people, especially women, pursue as a career. So I would like to understand, and I'm sure the audience would like to understand, and what challenges did you face along the way?
Yeah. To be honest, my interest in IT started during my time at university when I was doing my bachelor's. So I was learning computer science subjects, and I found them very interesting and engaging. So, however, when I was about to start my career, I little bit hesitated to join the industry at that time because at that time I had heard some things actually misconceptions about the industry. As an example, like it could be really stressful for a girl, and like that. So it made me kind of nervous to just jump in. So I ended up choosing an academic career instead. But later, when I started my master's degree, uh, I found friends in the industry and had to work with them during my studies. It was then that I realized that I was still really interested in the field. So I wanted to give it a try. So I decided to join the industry, and I started my career as an associate software engineer last year. So my inspiration was my friends. Uh, when it comes to challenges, I won't lie. Actually, there were definitely some challenges along the way, especially with changing my career path. But I'm really glad that I follow my interests. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you mentioned, Hansani, a little bit about the misconceptions that are there out there in the market, right? So I mean, I also have known a lot of colleagues and friends who want to pursue a career in IT, but because of these misconceptions and opinions that are created, they are very afraid to actually pursue their dreams and their careers. So I think what I would like to ask you as the next question is, um, it takes courage to come into an industry that is very challenging, inspiring, at the same time very volatile, which has a lot of changes and improvements that comes in all the way. So in your opinion, what do you think are some of the unique strengths that we women bring into the IT industry? And also, how can we leverage these strengths to drive innovation and growth in the industry?
Yeah. Well, women have lots of unique strengths that can really benefit the industry, IT industry. One thing I have noticed is that women tend to be really empathetic, and we are good at understanding the needs of others, and this is really important in a field like IT where teamwork is essential. And I also think women are great at bringing people together and making them feel like they belong. So, in a field like IT, uh, where there are more men than women, I would say more men dominated field, it's especially important to make sure women feel welcome. So, when building a community that ensures everyone feels included, this women's default strengths can be a huge asset. And I should mention this. I should mention this as well. Girls also tend to be really detail oriented, and we are great at breaking down complex problems and finding solutions. And also, let's not forget that women are really good at multitasking. So, considering these, sometimes women can come up with solutions to problems that others might not have even considered. So, in my opinion, these unique strengths can be really valuable in a field like IT.
Absolutely, Hansani. Actually, I would also think not only in IT but even in general, these skills that women hold, just like you very well mentioned, ability to multitask, being empathetic, and also bringing that cohesiveness into an industry or in any company or a team that we work in. And I believe we now have now moved into a position where we are dealing with a lot of Gen Zs, where we have a lot of them in our workforce. So having these skills as women for us, being empathetic, and then bringing that cohesiveness is definitely a plus point. Especially in a very volatile industry like IT, but not only that, in every other industry as well. So definitely, I do agree with you, and great insights shared there as well, Hansani. Um, Looking a little bit about, we spoke about strengths. We also know that the IT industry looks for a lot of qualifications and particular, very specific technical skills. And it's a very knowledge based industry, I would say. So, what skills and qualities do you think are essential for success in the IT industry? And in your opinion, how do you think that women or young girls can develop these skills and qualities? What are the options that are out there in the industry? Because ICT is just now booming here in Sri Lanka. So I'm sure a lot of the joiners who are listening with us today will be able to learn from you about what are the skills and the qualities and what are the options available out there in the market for them.
Well, there are a lots of skills and qualities that are important for success in the IT industry. But I think one of the most important is love of learning, because this technology landscape is always changing. So it's essential to stay curious and keep learning about new tech trends, technologies, and new tools. Like uh, if you if you know, these days we all are talking about ChatGPT and those things. So uh, the curiosity and keep learning about new technologies and trends, those are crucial. And also another important skill is problem solving. In the IT industry, you will encounter a lots of complex problems that require creative solutions. So having a passion for problem solving is essential. And also, when it comes to skills, communication skill also crucial. So because you need to be able to explain technical concepts to non-technical stakeholders. And also this skill, communication skill, also necessary to work effectively in teams. So those are the skills. Uh, and when it comes to in terms of qualities, a growth mindset is essential. uh, Embracing challenges and seeking out opportunities for growth and development is essential for success in this industry. So how can women develop these above discussed skills and qualities? uh, well, one way is to seek out training and development opportunities, because there are lots of online courses and programs that can help you develop technical skills. And also many organizations offer training and development programs for soft skills like communication and problem solving. So and also it's also important to seek out mentorship when needed, because finding mentors who can provide guidance and advice can be really valuable and helpful. And finally, uh, I think it's important to stay curious and keep learning. So try to read industry publications and by attending conferences and seeking opportunities to learn about new technologies and trends might be really helpful to improve your skills and qualities. Because the more you know, the more you valuable you will be to your organization, and also the more successful you will be in your career.
Yeah. I think you brought in a very valid point, which is about being curious to learn and being open to learning. Um, for an example, ChatGPT, I think, has challenged a lot of occupations, careers, and it is now challenging a lot of people's jobs. And I believe research predicts that in the coming year, you will have about 30% of job losses because of ChatGPT. So,
Yeah.
how do you also use these platforms that are emerging like ChatGPT to benefit you and your career is also very important. Just like you said, I think that's where the whole be open and be curious to learn comes in. And that's how I think we need to capitalize on these new innovations that are coming in, which should favor for us, which will help our careers as well. So I think that's a really good point, and I think it's something that we all tend to forget as we get into a job, as we get into a very routine job scope. We sometimes forget the requirement to learn, and naturally our curiosity to learn also dies. So I believe that is where we need to keep in mind that continuously learning is the way, one of the main skills and qualities that we have to keep in mind as women as well. When we started the discussion, Hansani, you spoke a little bit about when you wanted to get into the career. There were, um, what can I say, opinions, different people telling you about different things when you wanted to start your career. Um, Once now that you have started your career in IT, we also hear a lot of not people but research talking that there's bias and discrimination for women, not only in the IT industry but in general in any industry that you go to, right? So I would like to understand from your point of view, how do you think we as women can overcome these biases and discriminations? Because naturally, and I also believe culturally, some level of biasness will be there, and it's going to take us some time to crack that. I mean, we've come a long way in doing that, but we have a long journey to go as well. um, in your opinion, how do you think that this biasness and the discrimination that women face in the IT industry can be overcome?
Yeah, no, actually, that's a really important question, and one that I think we need to address as an industry. Uh, Yeah, bias and discrimination exist in not only the IT. Yeah, it can be exist in any other industry as well. So one thing we can do to overcome this bias is to raise awareness of the issue and have more open and honest conversations about it. So it's important to recognize that bias and discrimination exist. So by acknowledging the problem and talking about it, talking openly about it, we can start to make progress towards creating a more inclusive environment in the industry. And also, we can work to address this bias and discrimination in the hiring process. This means using blind resume reviews, so and also standardized interview questions, and so we can use these concepts, blind resume reviews and standardized interview questions, to uh, reduce the impacts of unconscious bias. And also, it's also important to make sure that job descriptions are gender neutral and that companies are actively seeking out and recruiting diverse candidates. And again, it's important to make sure companies are being held responsible for creating a more inclusive, more diverse workplace. So, this can be done by setting clear diversity goals and metrics, and ensuring there are consequences when not meeting them. So, yeah, I have mentioned a few here, so there can be more. But I think at least by addressing these to some extent, we can overcome this bias and discrimination those women face in the field.
Absolutely, absolutely. I also believe that you brought in like your your very first point. You have to acknowledge that there is a problem and there is a bias and discrimination in the industry. So by accepting that, I think you will then work towards, or be proactively work towards solving that problem, rather than putting it under a rock and pretending like it doesn't exist. So great insights shared there, and I really loved how you spoke about being gender neutral, and also using matrices and tracking sheets to make sure that you have gender diversity in your organization, so that we build a very inclusive organization as well. Um, as we all know, the IT industry is evolving in a very rapid and a very fast paced. How do you see the future of the IT industry? And in what do you think? I mean, we have come a long way in the industry as well. But what opportunities and challenges do you think women will face in the coming years? I know we have a lot we are facing already, and we don't have solutions to many of them. But I mean, the industry is revolving, the people are moving on, everything is very fast paced now, right? So, what opportunities and challenges do you think women will have to face in the current coming years?
Yeah, both opportunities and challenges. Yeah. In a time, artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain, and Internet of Things, and lots of words we can, every day we hear these things, right? So, like artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain, or these all technologies are dominating the field, and because of that, already changing the way we work and live. So we can expect to see this continuous innovations in the coming years as well. So there will be both opportunities and challenges. In terms of opportunities, as we know, there is already a growing recognition of the importance of diversity in workplaces, and also we are already seeing more and more organizations and workforces aimed at promoting gender equality and empowering women in IT. So I think to some extent, this will result in closing the gender pay gap and also increasing women's representation in leadership roles and also creating more opportunities. So when it comes to challenges, I think work-life balance can be a major issue. Uh, with the evolving nature of the field, many IT roles can be demanding, may require long hours and intense focus, and may require constantly keeping up with the latest tech trends. So, this can be challenging for women who may also have commitments at home. So, and of course, we can address these challenges with proper organizational policies while introducing flexible work arrangements to support work life integration. So, those are the opportunities and challenges I think women will face in the coming years.
Yeah, just adding on to a little bit about how organizations can actually address this is, like you very well said, flexi hours. And I believe thanks to COVID, now we have all gotten used to the working from home. Companies have started to trust their employees with the whole work from home arrangement and things like that. So companies are actually doing a lot, especially IT as well as non-IT as well. A lot of best practices, a lot of initiatives have been introduced into the industry to make sure that this it's a women friendly as well as a gender neutral industry. So challenges will continue to come towards us, but at the same time, organizations
We can
will
overcome.
also
Yeah.
continue to come up with new strategies, come up with new initiatives to make sure that challenges have been minimized so that their employees and especially women in the industry will have that opportunity to continue to work and continue to shine in the industry. So, Hansani, we spoke a lot. I would like to ask you to share maybe a little bit about a personal story. You've been in the industry for some time. You entered the industry after having a little bit of second thoughts, I would say. So, if you could share a little bit of a story, I'm sure everyone in the audience would love to listen and get inspired by that, a situation or an instance where you had to overcome a particularly very challenging obstacle in your IT career?
Yeah, of course. One of the biggest obstacle I faced was entering the IT industry while having an academic career background. But fortunately, I was able to find a workplace to restart my journey through a friend, and I joined as an associate software engineer. During that time, I always had to make an effort to boost myself to learn uh, as much as possible and expose myself to new technologies and opportunities without any hesitation to reach a level where I could work effectively with my colleagues on the same projects. And since the company gave me a chance to learn and develop and also restart my career journey, I wanted to prove myself as a valuable asset in a short time. So, restarting my career path and adapting were the biggest obstacles I had to overcome.
Yeah. From your story, what I'm gathering is I think you were helped by a friend to enter into the industry, right? So we,
Yeah.
on a day in and a day out basis, meet a lot of potential candidates. We meet a lot of potential women who have that potential to enter into the industry, but It could be something is stopping them. It could be the maybe they are afraid to enter the industry, or it could be that they have assumptions, myths that has been created that is stopping them from entering the industry. I believe we need to help and uplift each other. And just like a friend helped you to enter the industry, we do see that on a day in and day out basis out there. So I think we as women also have a little bit of responsibility. If we see someone who wants to enter the industry but who is struggling, maybe for some other reason, to always have that conversation and maybe draw that path, give that chance, just like you were given the chance to enter the industry. Give that chance so that they will also be able to explore, join the industry, and really see, really get the feeler of what it is all about, and are these myths actually true or not. I mean, we are doing these education sessions to make sure to convey the message that it is possible to work in the industry and it is just a myth that is out there. But I believe if we help each other and uplift each other, that will also pave the way for very potential talent that is out there to enter the industry as well. Great. So I believe my next question is a little bit towards diversity and inclusion. You did touch a bit about this in my previous question as well. But just to add on to that, how do you think, I'm sure this is already happening in your organization as well, so we would just like to understand what are some of the best practices that are currently practiced in your organization, but at the same time, in from the research that you've done, from the learnings of the industry, how do you think we can improve diversity and inclusion in the IT industry, and what can individual professionals do to promote these values?
Yes, improving diversity and inclusion in the industry, in IT industry, is something that we all need to work on together. So, as we discussed earlier in the conversation, there are a number of steps that companies can take to promote this diversity and inclusion. So, this includes things like creating a culture of inclusion, providing unconscious bias training, and addressing bias and discrimination in the hiring process. But as individual professionals, we can also do our part in promoting diversity and inclusion at work. So, what we can do is we can speak up and let our team know how important it is to have a diverse workplace. So, by doing this, we can encourage them to be more inclusive and welcoming to everyone. And also, mentorship is another powerful way that individual persons can promote diversity and inclusion. By mentoring younger or less experienced colleagues, you can help to provide them with the support and guidance that they need to success in the industry. So that mentorship is, I think, another another powerful way to do that. And also, finally, I think it's important to educate ourselves about issues related to diversity and inclusion. So, to do that, we can read articles and books on this topic, and also attending workshops and training sessions. Or we can do that simply engaging in discussions with colleagues from different backgrounds. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I also believe we as women who are representing in the industry, we need to be advocates ourselves by promoting diversity and inclusion in our organizations. So we need to talk about it in all medias as much as possible. I mean, a professional media being LinkedIn, I see a lot of people sharing their best practices done by the companies. Then they voice out how diversity and inclusion needs to be. addressed in this industry, in this day and age, and how do you address it, how do you bring right practices into organizations as well. So from an organization's point of view, bringing in the right policies, processes, right guiding principles to make sure that we have a diverse and inclusive workforce also is something that can be added to make sure that there is more, the diversity and inclusion is improved in the IT industry. Um, so we all want to one day have leadership positions in the organizations that we work for. I'm sure, Hansani, you holding a position in your organization, um, and you have team members working for you in your team. You have a team working together, right? So leadership plays a huge part in an organization's success, organization's growth, and also direction. How do you think, as women, how can women be represented in organizations' leadership roles? Obviously, definitely in your industry, in the IT industry. How can we make sure that women are represented in the leadership positions?
Yeah. There are a few things we can do to ensure that women are well represented in leadership roles in the IT industry. First, we need to work on building diverse hiring processes, hiring pipelines. And another important step we can, uh, another important thing we can work on is addressing bias in performance evaluations. Uh, Sometimes women are evaluated differently than men, so we need to implement standardized evaluation criteria and also train managers on how to evaluate employees objectively. And also, we also need to provide companies also need to provide mentorship and sponsorship opportunities for women. uh, Actually, women in leadership roles can serve as mentors and sponsors to other women in the industry by providing guidance, support, and opportunities for their career growth. And also, encouraging women to pursue technical leadership roles is also important. Many women in the industry are drawn to non technical leadership roles, but we need to provide training and support and development opportunities in areas like uh, development and data science and other all the IT related opportunities.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you for that insights, Hansani. I think women, specifically in the beginning, also we spoke about how women bring in a different flavor into leadership. So having that caliber in that leadership positions will definitely only be an added value to the organization, and it will only make sure it will enhance the value of the organization towards its growth and the business requirements. So definitely we need to encourage more and more women leadership, not only women leadership, and also make sure that we guide them, mentor them, make sure we have successors to take up after the positions. After we move out from the industry, we make sure that we have successors who are also women, who will so that replace us one day and take the organization and take their careers forward. um, so in the interest of time, I am moving on to my last two questions for you. And of course, we have a lovely audience who's joined in with us, and they would definitely want to hear from you about a little bit of, what can I say, an advice, right? That you could give these young girls who are entering into the IT careers. We have, like I said, there's a lot of dilemma before they actually go ahead and pursue a career in IT. And also, just like you very rightly mentioned, they may come into the industry but not for technical roles, but they might go in for just other supportive roles in the IT industry, like finance, HR, or I don't know, maybe project management. but how do they really take on those technical IT roles and really foster their growth and their opportunity? What advice do you have for these young crowd that is just looking forward to enter the industry?
Yeah, first of all, I should congratulate them on choosing a career in IT because it's a dynamic and exciting field with a lots of opportunities for growth and development. And I may not be the most experienced or bold person to give an advice, but as a woman currently work in the industry, I can offer a few tips that may help newcomers. So the first one I can think of is never stop learning, because this technology landscape is constantly evolving, and it is really important to stay up to date with the latest technologies and trends and tools. So seek out training and development opportunities, try to attend industry events, webinars, and try out new technologies and tools while being mindful about security measures. And another tip I can think of is try to build a strong network, try to connect with colleagues. Uh, so you can use advantages of platforms like LinkedIn. So having a strong support system can be incredibly valuable when navigating your career. And do check out what kinds of jobs are out there, and pick a path that interests you. For an example, you can set a goal like becoming a solution architect or a cybersecurity consultant or so on. Once you know what you want, start working on getting the right qualifications. So you can start acquiring professional certifications to achieve this. And finally, always remember that you belong in this industry. This IT industry needs more women, and those women bring unique perspectives and experiences to the table. And importantly, make sure you enjoy what you are doing. If you love it, you will be able to go wherever you want. So that is my advice actually for the newcomers.
Thank you so much. I'm sure the audience would have learned quite a bit from that. Although you said you're not very experienced in the industry, that advice that you gave is on spot, I would say. Make sure that you continuously learn. um, Also, make understand that you belong in the industry. I just love that advice. We women need to trust and believe in ourselves before we actually go ahead and do something, and I think you love beautifully crafted that. Make sure you believe in yourself and that you belong in this industry, and that itself is an achievement. That is the first step towards breaking all of those barriers that you have created for yourself. So the audience who is listening in, I'm sure you could have you were listening to this and you learned quite a bit of some valuable advice from Hansani. My final question to you, Hansani, is um, how do you think we can encourage women to pursue careers in IT? And what is the company's role for that? In the sense, um, you come from a very well versed organization who hires women into the IT industry. So, what do you think an organization's point of view? What does an organization have to play in this role to encourage more women to pursue careers in IT?
Yes. First off, I think we need to address some of the misconceptions around women in IT. Uh, as I explained earlier, as we discussed earlier, and we have to so companies need to create I think companies need to create a more welcoming environment for women in IT field and show them that they can totally fit in this field, and also giving uh, and encourage them through some mentorship programs, and can offer programs uh, like can offer programs like coding events or something. So with that, I think women can build those skills and knowledge that they need to work in a company. And also I think promoting we discussed these things earlier, promoting diversity and representation. So when someone see another women succeeding in IT, it can make a huge difference. So it can inspire them. So in this scenario as well, companies can play a big role by ensuring that their leadership teams and employees represent a diverse range of backgrounds. And so companies should make a real effort to hire and promote women in this tech field, and create a more welcoming culture, and create a culture that values and supports this diversity.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Hansani. This actually brings us to the end of the discussion. And I want to thank Hansani for bringing such informative and very personal insights into our discussion. Once again, thank you so much for your time, Hansani. We hope the listening audience that this webinar has inspired and encouraged all of you to pursue careers in IT and has provided guidance and support for those facing challenges in their careers. We surely spoke about how to overcome barriers, how to overcome challenges, how companies are making their way to make sure that the biases and discriminations can be mitigated in the future as well as currently as well. So I'm sure this would have been a great inspiration to all of you. And if you are planning on joining the ICT industry, just like Hansani said, believe that you belong in the industry. So do not back down. Keep pushing yourself to pursue your dreams and join the industry. As we conclude, let us remember that diversity and inclusion are critical for innovation and growth, and that we must continue to work together to create a more equitable and inclusive IT industry. Thanks again, Hansani, for sharing valuable insights and experiences on women in IT, celebrating achievements and overcoming challenges. Your continuation to the IT industry have shown that there is no limit to what women can achieve. Once again, thank you to HCL Tech Sri Lanka for partnering with Chocolate Magazine for this webinar series, and we are grateful for the opportunity to work together to bring valuable insights and expertise to our audience. Finally, a big thank you to everyone who have joined us today on a Friday evening for sparing your time to join us and listening to this conversation. I'm sure that this discussion has provided you with valuable insights into the ways that women are transforming and educating and inspiring the industry. Do not forget to stay connected with us on Facebook, Instagram, and all other social media channels for more insights and more insightful webinars and events and much, much more. And with that, I'd like to conclude today's webinar. Thank you once again, Hansani. It was lovely having you on us on this show today, and for everyone who joined us today as well. We hope to see you soon again. Thank you and good night.
Thank you.